Good morning and welcome to the Women in Leadership, Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I am Charlie.
And I'm Heather. Together, we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships, empower each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, mind, and soul, sharing the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Today's guest is one of the geniuses behind a huge production, and it's principal storyteller. She turns the mundane into a visual work of art. She is a wonderful friend, homeschooling mom, and businesswoman. We are very pleased to introduce you to Angela. Thank you for inviting us to your studio today for our first on-location live podcast in the heart of downtown Arlington, Washington, a small town with a big heart. Thank you, Angela, for joining us.
Oh, you threw some of my words in there, which is awesome. Some of my writing. Yeah, I love it. I love hearing it back. It's kind of like, you send it out into the world and then sometimes it comes back to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we try to do our little our research, behind the person that we're interviewing, because I think it's really important to get into the heart and soul of who you are and what you do. So why don't you take a few minutes and tell us about that?
Sure. Actually, I think that's really smart. You do that because we do that too when we are going to make videos for a client. Research is part of it. You want to get to know who you're going to be working with, what they do. So you doing that, to me, I do that all the time. So I respect that. It's very cool. What we do, it's just a husband and wife team. We're a mom and pop, which a lot of people assume when we're going to come film that it's going to be this massive Hollywood movie crew coming, and they get nervous. So we always reassure them, hey, we're just a mom and pop. It's very minimal, setup. We bring only what we need. And then we keep it really organic and fun for people. So the shoot is always fun. And then we get a lot of the heart of the actual client, the people that are behind their business or the nonprofit or the athlete or, the law enforcement officer or whatever. We get to see the human behind the badge, if you will, or the human that will be talking about their business, and then they speak from their heart, which really translates well in video. And we make small videos. We're working on a bigger video documentary, but most of the time we make, say, 2 to 3 minute videos for businesses, nonprofits, to help them raise money or, put on their website, social media content. We're content creators. We need to work more on our own content because we're always making everyone else's content. So that's something that's on my list of things to improve is our own social media.
Always things to improve, like the list every time, right? Yeah. So how did you get here?
So this is our studio, and you guys were mentioning Moe's earlier coffee. We're in the same building as Moe's downtown Arlington. We're just right behind them, next to Glory Bucha, if you know where that is. So it's kind of a cool spot downtown. And we got here because we grew into this career. It wasn't something that we set out going, okay, we're going to start a business and we're going to buy all this gear. We're going to go into debt and all this. We never did that. We started with, my husband went to school for fine art film photography. So he's more on the traditional film side, the fine art side of things. He won an award for concert photography when he was in high school. That was at the EMP when it was, and now it's the Modern Museum. What is it now in the Modern Museum? MoMA.
Modern.
Yeah.
MoPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, MoPA.
And anyway, so he always was really good at photography and the artistic side of it, and then just kind of let that go for a while because digital came out, and then he wasn't really interested in all of that for a while. But then he tried out for American Ninja Warrior years ago.
Awesome. That's right.
And you had to create a video, and so we both together learned how to make a video, actually. And we used, what was it, Microsoft Movie Maker or something terrible. It wasn't like sorry Microsoft, but anyway, it got us started. So hey, that's cool, and made him an audition video, and he didn't get on the show. That was one of those things in life.
Bummer.
But what we did learn is that it was pretty fun to make videos. And with his background as a photographer and understanding composition and lighting and all the things that make photography great, he was able to really bring that into our business. And meanwhile, I'm a writer, so that's my art. I've always been a writer. I've written some things on the side, like kids' books that I need to get published and things. And also we have 4 kids, and we had, my husband was commuting from Arlington to South Seattle every day. So if you guys know that traffic, it's really brutal. So he might be in the car 4 or 5 hours in a day, just driving at snail's pace. And he would come home stressed out and anxious, and just, it wasn't working, it was like his career was fine. That was, not a problem, but it was just that commute that was brutal. So on the weekends, we were weekend warriors. We would go out into nature and we look for sun. If you guys are familiar with this area, it's very rainy, right? A lot gloomy and rainy, but when it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. So we decided to search for the sun. And so we created a little family blog called Searching for Sun, and we would look for wherever it was sunny. So that moment we would go, okay, where's it sunny? Oh, it's sunny on Camino Island. We'd go there and we'd find whatever they had to offer as far as outdoor things, coffee places, whatever we could find. And we would go do something. We made a family blog about it and we'd make a video. And so about every week we would have that. And it didn't run for very long, because soon people started to say, oh, you make really great videos. Can you make us a video, kind of thing? And then we also threw a skateboard race every year called Centennial Skate Fest. So it's a longboard race distance where people ride out, and we'd make a highlight video on that. So we were actually flown to Miami for the Miami Ultra Skate, which is a 24-hour race around the Miami Homestead track. And we made a video on that, highlight video. So that was our very first, I'm going to say it's our second paid gig. The first one, my brother, we made a video for him for $100, but so he always, that's his claim to fame. I'm your first paid video. But so our first official client was the Miami Ultra Skate, the International Distance Skateboard Association. They flew us out there, and we at that time just had like a little Best Buy camera, and we made a really kick-ass video. So from there, we started to get other clients. Had a YMCA client, a Western Washington University. And once you start to build your portfolio, then you get slightly better jobs that pay you a little bit more. And then you invest that back into your equipment and your business, right? And that's what we did. And now we have a lot of clients. We're slammed.
Yeah.
And we're able to.
And you have a studio that you can actually, shut doors in, and it's not just the living room table.
Right. We had a studio at our house for a long time. It was just a little office, 150 square foot space that my husband and I were rolling over each other all the time. But it was fine. It worked out really well for us. But it was time to grow, because sometimes we need to do things like this, or we need to have clients in here. Like this space it's been a cafe before, it's been a classroom, it's been a living room. So we can actually take our space and transform it into something where we film. Most of the time we don't film in our studio, we film on location. So what happens in our studio is kind of interesting. We have my workstation, my husband's workstation, and then we're also homeschooling 2 of our 4 kids a lot of times here at the studio. And our dog's here a lot. So it's kind of a cool, friendly place, for our family, but also people that want to come in and say hi.
Yeah, and it's really become such a big part of the community here locally, and I can't wait to see where it takes you guys in the future, because I know you guys are going to do some really big, really cool things, and I can't wait to see that grow and bloom. You've been planting the seeds, and the harvest is coming. So
Thank you.
I'm really excited about you.
Thank you.
And what you guys have going on.
And that you've been so giving. Like, we've learned so much from you guys, particularly in the realm of lighting, and had conversations, just talking. You're like, yeah, this is my knowledge here. Here you go. Like, it's so awesome. We've seen it. It helps our growth, too. Like you just like tucked us under your wing and like, yeah, here, that's what you need.
Yeah.
And along with the other local businesses, last summer, I think it was when you did that Downtown Arlington Business Association video, and it was super cute. She's dressed up like a what do you call it? Like a burglar, and running around town and getting chased by the cop with the bully stick, and it was super cute, super fun, and it really featured some of the local businesses in a way that was special for them, but then it also really brought the Arlington community, which is a very small living town with, like I said, with a big heart together. And I think that the way that you put that into a visual like it was almost like a 15-minute commercial for the town. And it was just really, really beautifully done.
Thank you. Yeah, my husband is one to also give a lot of credit to. He's very artistic and perfectionist when it comes to things like filming and editing, for sure, and music selection. There's a lot that goes into creating a video. A lot of people think, oh, you just have to have a nice camera and you're good, or oh, my neighbor kid has a nice camera and he's good. Well, that helps, but you have to also understand, like I was talking about, lighting, composition, and all the things in photography. You have to understand colors, and also music selection is really important. Even sound effects, you know, there's been times where we needed a sound, we couldn't find it anywhere. We have a database of sounds and we're having to get the kids quiet, we're recording, and we have to make flag noise for a Veterans Day video. And I'm like grabbing out of our linen closet all kinds of things, bandanas, pillowcases, different types. And then he's got the recorder, and then he's like, make it whippier. And then I'd make it whippier. And then it would be like, no, a little softer, you know, and then we finally get the sound, and then okay, I got it. So sound effects, and that's actually called Foley art, is a part of our industry too. And the more we have gotten into video, the more we realize we're actually filmmakers. Really, we didn't set out calling ourselves that, but now we realize that's actually what we are, because we approach each video for each business or whomever client as its own artwork, piece of art, and then we send it off and give it to the client, and then we sit there and we freak out. Yeah, it's like we wait and hope they love it, and we hope, and then mostly, I mean, we've never had someone hate it, let's just say, but most of the time everybody's like, oh my gosh, I love it, no edits. Every once in a while we get somebody, okay, I have a few edits, different font, this and that. We try to get all that stuff up front so that we don't have those edits. But every once in a while they might not know they want something until they see it. And then we make the edits quickly, and that's something we also do, is we produce videos pretty quickly for a client.
It's really a full service.
Yeah,
For
sure. We do all the script, I do all the script writing and interview question writing, all the things that go on to actually help make it a really great video and get into the heart of messaging too.
Wow.
Yeah. So cool. So we are super excited to be here with you today for our first on location podcast, and in your beautiful space, and really love the heart of who you are and what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just can't wait to work with you some more, and just watch everything grow.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. This is my first time being featured on any kind of podcast or being live at all, really. And really, I'm never in front of the camera. It's always the opposite. I'm always looking in from the other angle.
Yeah. So it's a different experience for you, for sure.
You know, it's good because for clients, it helps me understand what they're going through a little bit. And that's something we also do. We help them get comfortable. Like you guys came early and developed a rapport, and we talked and chit chat, and that kind of stuff helps as we set up. We do the same thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that way they're ready to roll, and it goes well.
Yeah. And it really makes it really seamless and smooth.
I love it. I'm so excited just to be here. It feels so beautiful, and it really reflects who you guys are and what you're bringing to our community, and I love it.
That's cool. Thank you. Can the audience see the stage in the shot?
No,
well,
it's pretty much
right here. Yeah, we have.
But I did take some selfies over there.
Cool.
Watch
Yeah.
Watch her social media. They'll be behind the scenes pictures.
Yeah, the stage will be a place where people can, when people feel comfortable coming in, they can come in and perform a monologue or a homeschool show and tell or whatever it might be. This is going to be kind of a fun stage that we'll invite people in to use from time to time.
Something else that I know that you're working with someone else that's been on our podcast is helping with recording an audiobook. Like, that's super exciting too. So you do that here in the same space?
Yeah. So that's going to be a really cool thing to see finished. We think about 10 hours of recording audio. So this is a space too that's pretty quiet, which is why we chose it. And we can do some audio recording in here, and that's what we'll be doing. As people have more things like that, there might be a project with the Stilling Pioneer Museum. They applied for a grant, and they might be doing an audio component to that too. So where each station has an audio, like people could have headphones or an app, and they can listen. So that'll be neat if that whole thing pans out. I know that they're going to still do a video or two with us, so that'll be fun too.
I think that's super cool.
Mhm.
Their little museums growing up too.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that?
Very cool. And I love that the community is also reaching out to other members of the community to really help and support one another in different ways. And that's one thing I really love about living in this Snohomish County area. Like Snohomish County in general seems to be a lot more community driven. You know, people want to do things with and for their community, helping, loving, support them. And anyway, our main topic this week is sleep or rest. So how do you take a step back and get some rest?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't sleep very much. Should, but I don't. My brain's always racing. I'm always thinking about something. I give myself a task in my brain before I go to bed, so I think about it and hopefully wake up with the answer.
I love it.
I also look at sleep like, I think it was Benjamin Franklin that didn't sleep much, but he told his brain that, okay, I have 2 hours of sleep and I'm going to max those 2 hours and really get good sleep for those 2 hours. So those are going to be 2 quality hours of sleep. I use that tactic all the time. Even if sometimes I go, oh man, I'm super tired, I'm going to lay down for a half hour, which never happens. But if I do, it's going to be a hard half hour and it's really going to do something for me. And actually those power naps, when I get them, are very effective.
It's very intentional.
Yeah. There's been times I've laid on this rug or that rug or hidden in the back room and like turn all lights off and laid there just real quick because we've been so busy. We've been, like I said, I'm homeschooling 2 of the 4 kids. We just moved recently and we have
You
a
didn't just
lot
move, you
going
bought a house, so that's a whole thing in and of itself. All by itself is a big stressor, right? Like,
Yeah, moving is quite an undertaking. Imagine if you lived in a house for 9 years and then all of a sudden you have to move it and you have 4 kids and a dog. And we
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So we actually, interestingly, did not buy that house. We are renting the house because
wow.
so our business had to be 2 years old to qualify for any kind of loan because we're a newer business, right? We've just hit 2 years not that long ago. But in order to file 2021 tax, or we had to have filed 2021 taxes.
Oh,
But the house we were renting, and she wanted to sell in the spring and then just moved it up to January so that we didn't have time to file our taxes because you couldn't yet. So, so we were kind of thrown into this conundrum, which at first upset us a little bit. It wasn't expected. We had basically 30 days to find a home. And even if we were going to buy a home, that wouldn't be enough time to find a home, move into it, close on a home and all those things. So it pushed our timeline out because we were going to purchase a home in the spring, which would have fit our timeline really well. But life doesn't always, just line up. But you know what? We had to look at the bright side of it and go, well, we're gonna be fine regardless. This is just, and we really like the home and we're kind of in a newer area that we never lived in. So it's a new adventure.
exciting.
The kids love it. And yeah, it pushes us back on that. But right now buying a house is a little bit crazy. So maybe this is the time we need to breathe and actually find a home that we want. We want some land and things like that. So we have some boxes to check. And right now the timing just didn't work the way we thought
Now
it would.
you can have
It's okay.
less stress, like an immediate need.
Mhm. Yeah. So
That's cool.
that's
And you could always
nice.
look at that as a opportunity to not be stressed later on down the road when you do find the right place.
Yeah.
You can take your time and not have to stress about now.
Right. So we didn't, we didn't want the experience of buying a home to be a rushed thing in any way.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if we found a perfect place, we dove right in. Oh yeah. But we actually want to be able to shop around, look around, think about that sort of thing.
And check every box on your list.
As much
along
as
the way,
possible, right? But with regard to sleep, that's why I don't really sleep much because I felt like I've had a lot going on.
Right.
And rest is something I need to probably look into.
I think learning to rest and, really get that mental recovery going is a really hard skill to learn, especially as mothers, as business women, as entrepreneurs. We're so busy. We get so caught up in all the to-dos that it's hard
if we're not making it a priority, if we don't notice and we just let it slip to the back burner, it goes, right? Like, because we just keep going. We just do the things we have to do. I know that this week we've been talking about sleep, and I talked a little bit about GABA, and GABA actually helps calm down your brain so you can go to better rest, sleep, and it can calm that anxiety piece down, which is a really cool thing. And they say like what you need to do to like get yourself into a routine is to make a routine. that's where I was going with that. Is to make a routine like going to bed either at the same time or resting at the same time every day. It really helps your body to find that rhythm. And so I know that I will take a rest like before my child gets home from school, but after working, like, you know, just if I can squeeze in even 10 or 15 minutes of just laying down and cuddling my dog, like that's my favorite thing to do.
I love cuddling my dog.
Even now, you know, it used to be like several hours because of the chronic conditions I have. And now that I'm doing so much better, I'm excited that, you know, it can be 5-10 minutes now. And the one suggestion that my friend Carolyn Schneider made a couple of weeks ago was to every top of the hour to stop and take 6 deep breaths. I was like, I haven't been able to do it like every day, like, but I keep thinking about it. Like when I think about it, I'll stop and take 6 deep breaths. But I was like, if you're, you know, like every hour taking those a moment to really give yourself that calm. And it's amazing what the oxygen does and how it keeps you from being in the fight or flight mode. It like just really brings you back into you. And it's a really good tool.
One of the things I like to do is if I'm out driving around a lot, and you guys could use this tool too, is when you come to a stop sign or a stoplight, breathe for the time that you're there. Just think about it. Okay, stop, red light, breathe.
That's an interesting one.
Right? And it really helps reset your mind, calm the body, and then you can move on throughout the day. It's another way to rest without necessarily resting, you know, because you're resting your mind, you're resting your heart, you're resting, you know, the physical body just by breathing, getting all that oxygen in your system is super important.
That just brought a memory back, actually. So being in the car, when you have to be in the car for a while, it's important, I think, to use that time in different ways. So for Chris, he would always, my husband would listen to certain kinds of music, right? And fill his soul that way and his creativity. I used to work for the Art Institute of Seattle, and I was an admissions recruiter. So I would go to a different high school in the state of Washington every single day and give presentations on the creative industries. So video production, audio, fashion, culinary, graphic design, you name it, like all the programs that they had, industrial design. And I would talk to students about all of that. Animation was one. I'm just thinking back on all of them, but I would be driving some days, all in a day's work. I'd drive out to the coast, give a few presentations and drive back, right? And sometimes I would stay in a hotel for a few days and hit a bunch of different schools in the region. But one thing I always did in the car was I listened to great music too, but I would do what's called active rest or whatever. And I would flex all of my different muscles and then like clench my butt cheeks to the beat of the music, right? As I drove. I know, isn't that weird? I'm so weird, but
no, that's true.
But I was at that time, I was very, very strong, like my abs. You wouldn't think so being in the car all that time, but I used that time in the car. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but to do something for my body because I knew I was sitting there sedentary, right? And so I'd use the music.
I used to practice my belly dancing because you have to isolate different parts of your body. So sitting is a good way to practice. That's funny. I never really put it together that does help you be stronger.
Yeah, I always
car dancing is my
car dancing. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done plenty of that. I've been caught doing it too.
It's always great when the person driving down the road next to you goes,
yeah,
thumbs up. Let's say goodbye. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
But rest is something I never thought about. So I should be thinking about rest. I do take baths though, like every single day, pretty much with Epsom salt, and that's like my time to reset. So that's my rest time, I guess. But I don't
That
sleep in the
works, yeah.
bath. You don't want to sleep in the bath.
No, but it
okay.
is a reset.
Mhm.
Like it's still to that self-care and
Mhm.
you don't let the
Yeah.
kids in the bathroom with you.
No, the dog, he comes in sometimes.
My dog
He
has
checks
to,
it out.
you know, make sure I don't drown, right?
Yeah.
When I got my puppy, she's a Jack Russell pug, so she's a little tiny. And I was having issues where I had to take Epsom salt baths twice a day. And she would come and, you know, because you have to soak for 20-30 minutes, she would come and rest on me and we would read our book together. Like she would come and curl up on me.
Wow. That's adorable.
Well, speaking of rest, I would like to do a quick meditation with you guys to bring some rest to our minds today. So let's take a couple deep breaths in through the nose.
If you're driving, you're going to please keep your eyes open. Your legs should either be flat on the ground or crisscrossed in your lap. It's fine. One or the other.
Big deep breath. Exhale slow. Picture yourself sitting beside the peaceful waters. Now imagine waves of beautiful colored light passing through you and removing all negativity and unwanted energies. Think of your breath like the waves on the sand. Coming in and going out. Feeling the warmth of the sun on the skin. Throughout the whole body. The sun's light, warm and inviting and peaceful. Passing through you, removing all the negativity and unwanted energies. Continue breathing like this. Imagining the waves as the breath. The sun, the light of the sun, and the warmth of the sun, cleansing, bringing you peace. Take a couple more nice slow deep breaths. And then slowly open your eyes. That was literally 2 minutes
That's wonderful.
of rest. And that's a really easy way to put yourself into a place of rest and clarity and just breathe for a couple of minutes. Imagining your breath as the waves and the sun as that cleansing light.
What's your vampire? That's all I can think of in my brain.
Unless you're a vampire.
Unless you're a vampire. This might not be good. I'm just breathing right
I mean, we
now.
gotta laugh, right?
So I wanted to do a quick reminder that our cause of the quarter is now networking, and we want to encourage you to support, to just give back in general. But so this, as entrepreneurs, we need to make sure that we're giving. And our cause of the quarter is now networking, because they are women helping young women become the next leaders. Women that may not have the opportunities and that other young ladies have, and it's a really neat program, mentorship program. So, and they follow them and create new leaders. It's
It's really, really amazing what they're doing.
On March 31st, they have a gala, and if you know who Rayanne Hall is, she throws quite a party, and she's really amazing, and it will be a lot of fun. So make sure you get your tickets to the gala. We have some up and coming events.
We do. Mindset Monday. On Mondays, we're going live on our Facebook page at 11:30. to talk mindset. And then next week's guests, we have a fellow podcaster, Lynn Brunet, who's been podcasting for 13 years. And we're super excited to learn from her. We have super genius Dr. Hema Murthy, who speaks like 5 languages, and she's just
And she actually knows how to say the Sanskrit words, and
correctly. Yeah,
correctly she speaks Sanskrit.
she speaks Sanskrit, which is the most ancient language that is still being spoken today, which is really cool.
She's
She's
lovely.
and
I
she's
can't
got,
wait to meet.
doesn't she have like a doctorate in like some crazy science thing?
she's
Yeah,
really
You'll find out, huh?
She's very
Yeah.
intelligent.
I
She's
can't-
beautiful.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I
but
want
it's-
to say it was a bio something like rockety science, really intelligent.
Yeah. Yeah, and on next Friday, we have feminine wisdom expert Susan Gala coming.
Which is really great because she also has an event next Friday afternoon. So you get a chance to meet her before she has her event and you know, want to come to the event with us. Because we will be going.
And the details on that are being shared on our Facebook page, so we'll keep you guys up. The last thing we'd like you guys to do is please subscribe to our podcast. You can do that wherever podcasts are being found.
So you can do that on Facebook. There's a little flag that comes up. You can save it. You can hit the little dots, and it will help boost our algorithm on Facebook, but it also shows up on the podcast feeds, and Facebook is our most popular app right now.
And so thank you, Angela, for letting us come to your studio here at A Huge Production. It is a lovely, lovely place, and we're so happy to have you as part of our table. So thank you for joining us at the
Yeah,
table.
thank you so much. And I'll be anxious to check this out and see how it all looks in the public eye. But I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me and us and welcoming us onto I say us because it's just my husband and I all the time, but me onto your podcast.
Your husband did help us with lighting and stuff. He can have credit.
Cool.
We
He's
appreciate
a
it.
good guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. All of Angela's contact information for A Huge Production is in the comments or the description below.
We're looking forward to continuing to connect and build more relationships with more community leaders.
Thank you for joining us at our table.
Thanks.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Oh.